Your next hour's booked, because The View is live. Iowa? Chaos at the caucus leaves Democrats scrambling to find out who won.
So, you probably heard we don't know the results.
Don't know all the results.
It is too close to call.
And has President Trump declaring himself the winner. Plus, Oscar nominee Margot Robbie and former View co-host Rosie Perez are invading The View with the cast of the new superhero blockbuster, Birds of Prey. And an Oscar-worthy View Your Deal. Let's light up Hot Topics with Whoopi, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
Where are you from? All right, welcome to the View, y'all. So, Democrats descended on Iowa yesterday for the caucus, and things didn't go, according to plan. There was a glitch in an app which was supposed to tally results, and it still got us waiting to see who won. And, of course, the candidates all said they won. Take a look.
So we don't know all the results. By all indications, we are going on to New Hampshire victorious.
When those results are announced, I have a good feeling we're going to be doing very, very well here in Iowa.
I'm ready to give him a new nickname, the former President Trump.
Our union will be stronger than ever when that one man is replaced by one very persistent woman.
And let's head to New Hampshire. Thank you, Iowa. So given all the chaos surrounding this, I mean, it doesn't really matter who ends up winning. Will Iowa be able to recover from this? Of course they will, because this is not the first time this has happened. The Republicans went through had a bit of a problem also. But, of course, who doesn't know his history had no idea that this is not the first time this has happened. But, Mayor Pete's coming here. He's going to be here next week, I believe.
I think this Thursday.
Thursday.
Oh, this Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Oh, I thought it was next week.
No.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Brian. But no matter what, I mean, what do you think? These things happen, and you know how much I love an app.
These things do happen in the sense that Iowa has a clumsy history of getting, like, Rick Santorum ended up winning, and it was declared Mitt Romney in 2012. But what they don't normally do is have no results at all. I have to say, last night I was waiting, like everyone, at 9 o'clock with my husband, waiting for things to come in. And then it was 10 o'clock, and it was 11 o'clock, and I was like, I got a show tomorrow. I got to go to bed. Like, I don't know what's going on. And this is a disaster, and Iowa should completely remove themselves from the caucus in general and turn into a primary next election cycle, because they clearly can't handle the responsibility and the gravity of this. All the staffers and politicians who have gone to Iowa and spent millions of dollars, left their families, campaigned, gone to this state because they believe in the first-in-the-nation caucus status. To have this happen, it's a load of garbage, and I'm done with it. And I'm completely done with it, and I think that it does a total disservice to all the candidates who have campaigned so hard. And now the person who benefits the most is Bloomberg, because he's removed himself from the early state primary process.
It seems that everybody won last night except Jimmy Carter.
I know.
That's number one.
Winning.
Number two, why are they doing it in a red state? It's a Democratic Party. Why don't they go to a blue state and do it? And mostly white people,
voters,
young white people are voting in Iowa. That's not an indication of the Democratic Party, so that was a mistake. I agree with you. Iowa should not be doing it. Although I love Iowa, I've been there. It's a lovely place, and the people are very nice, but I don't agree with this particular thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I thought was, maybe this is a good thing because we need to go back to paper ballots.
Yes.
And get out of the technology business.
But they had paper ballots.
It worked for George Washington. It'll work for us.
But it's not just paper ballots. People raise their hands. It's very clumsy. Like people go to gymnasiums and raise their hands, and like it's very.
Just go and vote.
Yeah, and the apps went down.
Yeah.
You know, I've said it from the very beginning that Iowa, you know, just isn't representative of the Democratic tent, and that's the problem that I've had. I mean, you know, it's if you look at the population, it's about 90.7% white, and just 4% of Iowa's population is black. But the problem also that I have, and bear with me, blacks make up 26% of the state's prison population. And there was a study by the Sentencing Project that ranked Iowa 3rd worst in the nation for its 1 in 17 incarceration rate of adult black males. And then on top of it, Iowa is the only state in our union with a lifetime voting ban for people with a felony conviction, which means the 4% of black people in Iowa, thousands of black Iowa residents who've served time, were barred from even caucusing. So it just seems to me if the Democratic nominee can't win without the 30, you know, in 30 years, a Democratic nominee without black support can't win, why the heck are we as Democrats or people, you know, in Iowa? It just doesn't make any kind of sense.
Well, so because the thinking was when it was basically all white people voting, was that it was fine. But it doesn't represent what the real nation looks like.
I think the candidates going forward will not spend again, not just about my dad, but he completely surpassed going to Iowa in 2000, 2008 because he didn't believe in the caucus, and I still don't. I mean, I up to last night, I respected it, but I do think the idea of just going a group of people holding your hands, and then if your vote doesn't count, you have to give it to another candidate. I think it's completely archaic and backward. The #1 takeaway, other than it's a total cluster, is that there was a huge low voter turnout in it. It's this exact same as in 2016. There should be more momentum with voters going forward, and that's
good for Biden. Because everybody knows Biden, and they don't have to go and talk about him, and they're happy with Biden. That's good for him.
But it's not good in a general election.
And as you said, Bloomberg.
Well, if there's no black people, you know, that's part of the reason, like, why there's low voter turnout.
And also for Biden. It was, you know, they're not there.
But
on to New Hampshire. Let's all be done with the caucus.
Another white state. Another white Republican state is New Hampshire.
It is not Republican. New Hampshire is extremely independent. Extremely.
But the other thing is,
it's a primary. It's not a caucus.
In 2016, I believe.
And the problem with New Hampshire also is just 1% of the delegates needed.
But then you go to South Carolina, and it's huge.
And that's when Biden is going to shine, and that's when we'll see Biden in America.
Well, you know what? Who knows what's going to happen, but we know what has to change. Okay, stuff needs to change because it's not working the way that it should. And after everything we saw with Stacey Abrams, we should be really careful about how we do all
this. The worst part, too, is that it makes voters distrust our process. And that, to me, is the worst part of this whole thing.
I heard that the Trump Jr. and his brother was saying that this is, you have to watch the Democrats in November because they'll be cheating. I mean, come on, look in the mirror, you two cretins.
But, you know.
Give me a break.
They said that?
Yes. But look at the source. Check the source. Stop yourselves,
boys. The Menendez brothers have
we'll be right back.
The totally realistic traffic jam.
I must admit, I had a few good tricks to help hide my bladder leak pad. Like the old tunic tug. You know it, right? But I don't have to with Always Discreet. I couldn't believe the difference. It's less bulky, and it really protects. Watch this. The super absorbent core turns liquid and odor to gel and locks it away. So I have nothing to hide. Always Discreet for bladder leaks.
Next Tuesday, for the first time ever, The Connors goes live on both coasts.
You better quit it right now.
It's true.
Holy cats.
Oh my God.
It's not a big deal.
Au contraire.
It's a very big deal.
Instagram all your friends, I'll wait.
And with this cast,
holler.
Anything can happen.
This is truly a time to be thankful.
The Connors live next Tuesday.
Where?
Only on ABC.
They say when a man goes to jail, it's like his family goes to jail too.
I, Aaron Wallace, I'm serving a life sentence for something I didn't do. Becoming a lawyer is what's getting me out. I got a wife and a daughter who's about to have a baby. It's
going to be a blessing, Dad.
This is my chance to make things right.
I know you think your dad is coming back someday, but he's not. I'm not just going to give up on him.
All right. Premieres next Tuesday on ABC.
Still ahead, the butt-kicking cast of the action blockbuster Birds of Prey. And view your deal for Oscar red carpet glam.
Hey, before we continue, February is Black History Month, and we're kicking off things by saluting a U.S. military hero who fought with honor for a country that did not always honor him. Doris Dory Miller, the grandson of slaves, joined the Navy at 19 years old at a time when blacks couldn't use the weapons on the ships that they were working on. Their service was limited to mess duty. He served on the battleship West Virginia in Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, when Japanese forces attacked. He carried injured soldiers to safety before manning the ship's guns to defend his crew. Afterwards, the media credited him as the unnamed Negro mess man hero, until President Roosevelt stepped in to make Miller the first black man ever to be awarded the Navy Cross. Now, this past Martin Luther King Day, Miller became the first black man to have a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier named after him. And this man, yeah. So when you know your history, you understand why people feel the way they feel. This man fought for a country that did not allow him to vote, didn't see him as a human being, and he fought for this country anyway. As many who come to this country as immigrants, they come and they fight for the country they love. He didn't come as a willing immigrant. He came, he was born here, and he fought. And finally, somebody said, oh, you're more than just the Negro mess man. You have a name. So when you hear people talk about Black History Month, this is why we need to tell everybody what's going on, because we've been here the whole time. Yeah. We've been here the whole time, and we're not shirking. We're not shirking, we're walking up. When we come back, Megan has a couple of things we were going to finish talking about, and then I talked too much, and now Megan will come up.
Very famous.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. We'll be right back. Yeah.
Your game this Valentine's Day with a gift that was literally made just for the ones you love. M&M's lets you customize and personalize with colors, pictures, and messages just like these that were made for us. And customizing and ordering is a breeze, so you can give a meaningful Valentine's Day experience for your loved ones or yourself. And thanks to M&M's, viewers at home can use the code TheView35 on the M&M's website for 35% off their purchase. And members of our audience are going home with a voucher for up to $100.
You want to talk about the State of the Union?
Well, tonight is the State of the Union, and I'm hoping that people will watch because we have to talk about it tomorrow. It's like a homework assignment.
Well, actually, I'm not going to watch because the last time I watched the State of the Union, it put me in the hospital for... So, yeah, no, you'll tell me what he said.
Well, I'm just hoping, you know, let's watch the body language, you know. Nancy Pelosi's going to be sitting behind him. I'm hoping she'll have a sign that says,
she'll do that?
I want to know if they'll shake hands because they haven't been together since.
Somebody told me that, you know, Nadler and Schiff and those guys are going to be right in front, which will freak him out.
Oh, my gosh.
He's going to be freaked. And they're saying he has to be presidential. Stay on script. Yeah, like he's going to be presidential. There's no way this guy knows how to be presidential. And I'm hoping that he'll just get freaked out, go off script, and be completely nuts. That's what I'm praying for.
Do you think he'll reference the impeachment? I wonder about that.
He will, because he's obsessed
No, I don't think so.
It's a perfect call. It was a perfect call.
Another lasagna. He does not talk about impeachment at all. No way. No way he talks about impeachment.
But he sees Nadler's face. He might just trigger himself.
No. So we do something that is... I'm sorry, were you about to...
Well, the only thing is, you know, I know he's going to probably try to mention Soleimani, you know, that and all of these, the economy and things that he considers successes. But I'd like to hear him talk about the fact that there are still kids in cages, still kids that are separated from their families, the border wall that hasn't been completed, but the border wall that was completed that fell.
How about, wait, how about, Sonny, that he's planning to cut Medicaid? Possibly, the people out there should know. Start to really pay attention, because this guy gets another term, you're going to lose Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security.
I'm sorry, Joy, this is a pipe dream, and I love you, but this is a pipe dream. What's most logical is he's going to go off script and be crazy. No, he's going to take a victory lap over the impeachment. He's going to take a victory lap over the cluster that just happened in Iowa. And now he has the State of the Union, which is a huge audience in front of all of America. And in this moment, he's doing pretty well. I mean, I just don't think the idea that he's going to decombust in front of the State of the Union is logical.
People need to read between the lines.
But before we go, we want to wish the best to two people, one who we probably agree with more often, and one that we probably don't. Rush Limbaugh is just... we found out he's got stage 4 lung cancer. Late-term lung cancer. And, you know...
We are all wishing you the best.
We don't agree, but nobody should be going through this.
No.
And Shannon Doherty just announced that her breast cancer's come back. And she's a great girl, and we are wishing her all the best.
It's awful.
Yeah, it is. But, so, with the, you know, throw some prayers up. Yeah. Throw some prayers up for us, for them, and come back. We'll be right back.
Oscar nominee Margot Robbie, former View co-host Rosie Perez, and the first all-female superhero squad from Birds of Prey land on The View. Next.
Margot Robbie is back as Harley Quinn in Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. And with her toxic ex-boyfriend and supervillain, the Joker, out of her life, she's found a new girl gang to hang with. Take a look.
Dope. Oh, no, not that one. Sentimental value. Try this. You're kidding. What? Gotta take care of the girls. Isn't this fun? It's just like a sleepover. We should order pizza. Hey, Cosmos. Harley. Okay, yeah.
Hey, nice. What the hell is up with this bow and arrow shit?
It's not a freaking bow and arrow, it's a crossbow. I'm not 12.
I love this chick. She's got rage issues.
I don't have rage issues!
You know, psychologically speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope.
Please welcome the cast of Birds of Prey, Margot Robbie, Rosie Perez, Ella J. Bosco, and Journey Smollett.
Welcome back. Hello. I just found
out. We are also thrilled you are here. Margot,
I just found out that Rosie used to work here.
Yes.
I had no idea.
She's home.
She's saying hi to everyone backstage.
Yes.
It's a family reunion backstage.
Well, Margot, you all just walked out to Diamonds from the all-female Birds of Prey soundtrack, which really helped set the scene for such a kick-ass girl power film. I saw it last week with my husband. We had the best time. I loved it so much. I'm going to go see it again with my 13-year-old little girl. You star as Harley Quinn, and you're also a producer. Why did you want to bring this film to life? Because it was so good.
Thank you.
So much fun.
No, we're so proud of it. And we had a lot of fun making it, so I'm glad you had fun watching it. We want people to walk out feeling, you know, pumped up, excited. But no, it's been in the making for a long time. When I was still shooting Suicide Squad the first time, that's when I originally pitched the idea. And I, through researching Harley, read there was so many more amazing female characters in the DC universe that we hadn't seen on screen. And Birds of Prey was a particular offshoot of the comics that I fell in love with. So I just wanted a girl gang action film on screen.
Wow.
We didn't have one.
No, we didn't have one.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. So you've been part of the View family since you were co-host here, and we're always happy to have. Look, what is this? What is this? Forget all that. It's really good to see you. And it's thrilling to see you in this movie. Thrilling to see you in this movie in particular, because you play Detective Renee Montoya in the film, and she, like you, doesn't take any poop. So, is that why you loved her? What made you say yes? All those questions. You know the questions.
Yes.
How'd you do it? How did it happen?
Well, the director gave me a call and asked me if I would be interested, and I said, yeah, and, I am a woman of a certain age now.
Are you?
Yes, I still
You don't look it.
Thank you. I just, convinced Warner Brothers, and they said, welcome to the DC family, and that was a great, great honor. And I wanted to play Renee Montoya, not only to represent a Latina, but also to represent a strong woman who was tenacious, had a high moral code, but yet was also complicated and flawed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, darling.
You talk about me, girl.
Yeah, and so doing it was difficult because these young bucks, I was like grandma.
Not true.
You held your own. You held your own.
Yeah, she always does.
She held her
There is
own.
never a moment on screen with Rosie Perez where you're not going, go ahead, girl.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
And I've,
You held your own.
Same with you, Jay. Just saying.
Well, our next question is for you, Journey, and you play Black Canary, and as her name would suggest, it's a songstress, but at the beginning of the film, she's having a hard time owning her power. Is that something that you related to with the character?
Oh my goodness, there were so many things I related to Black Canary, and in my process of researching the character and going back to the comics and stuff, I just fell in love with her. And yes, in our film, when we meet her, she hasn't yet become the Black Canary that we know her to be. I mean, yes, she's this fierce street fighter, this martial artist, but she's literally hiding her voice. And she has this secret that she's a metahuman. She's got this powerful canary cry. And I had this post-it sticker on my mirror in my trailer, and every day I would look at it because it would remind me of her, and also this, the struggle I think we all kind of go through in wanting to achieve your full potential. And it's this this Alice Walker quote that I had on my mirror, and she says, the most common way we give our power away is by thinking we don't have any. And that's literally the arc of Canary. Is she has this power, but she's in her own way. And the theme in the film is very much so emancipation. Everyone's being emancipated from something. And with Canary, she's got to be emancipated from herself.
Yes.
Wow.
Ella.
Hi.
So, you are in human years 13 years old.
In human years.
Yes. And you're amazing in the film, and you play Cassandra Cain. Now, is this the first time that character's been portrayed on screen?
Yes, it's the first time that Cassandra Cain has ever been played in any part of film.
And this is your first movie.
Yes, it is.
And so, you're sitting around, hanging out at home, and the phone rings, and what happens? What do you hear?
I actually was coming home from school, and my mom and dad had their camera out. They looked so weird. They were and my agents were on the phone, and they were videotaping me, and my agent told me, you booked the job. And it was just so emotional for me, and my parents were screaming their heads off for me. And it was super emotional and so unexpected that I'd even be here and part of this whole experience.
Wow. Wonderful.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
What told you I'm an actor? When did you know?
I think I knew by my parents love educating me about different movies over time, and I think really watching The Goonies and Annie,
so good.
Really seeing this big group of kids just having the funnest time, and I think that definitely stood out to me and made me really think that sounds so fun. I want to be a part of that.
Well, welcome. You certainly doing your thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, more from the cast of Birds of Prey when we come back. Yes.
Stories.
Tomorrow, Alec Baldwin's guest co-hosting. Plus, billion-dollar fashion mogul Jessica Simpson.
We're back with the cast from the film Birds of Prey. We need to talk about the stunts and the fight scenes in this movie because literally after watching it, I was at my home, like doing karate kicks and stuff. Your characters do so many stunts, and I just learned that y'all did a lot of these yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, how intense was that training? Because I can't believe that. I kept on, when I was watching it, I was like, how much do these stunt doubles look like these women?
Well, that's really like the sign of like a great stunt team. And our stunt coordinator and team 8711, their job was to get us in shape so that we could do all our own stunts. And there's always like an exception here and there where it's something insanely dangerous that you really shouldn't do. But we did most of our own stunts. We started training a couple months before shooting, kept training throughout shooting, and stunts are the funnest bit. You don't want to give it away.
I mean, Rosie's like punching people. That's her. Journey's like doing handstand stuff. I cannot believe it. You're like pickpocketing people. It was incredible.
Did you know your character is the first lesbian character in the DC universe?
Yes, really? That's right. Well, Journey, you've been acting since you were a little girl, and you were on the original Full House and the sitcom On Our Own Sibling. How have you seen the industry change over that time?
How have I seen the industry change? You know, I've seen it. I think I'm just incredibly excited about the time we're in right now. You know, I don't know that a film like this, an R-rated comic book, girl gang action flick could have existed just a few years ago.
Wow.
And I think there's so many people who are hungry to see the world reflected on screen finally. And they're hungry to see more eclectic stories told. And I'm also excited because there's so many more filmmakers who are just like, I'm not going to ask for a seat at the table. I'm just going to build my own damn table.
Right. Yeah.
And you've got people like Margot who are getting behind the camera and producing. So I'm excited about the new era that we're ushering in because we're just seeing more stories being told.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Ms. Ella and Journey, do you two talk about what it's like to do? This is a question I'm not going to ask.
Okay.
Well, I'll move on.
Yeah.
Well, Rosie, we're sitting here talking about women and the power of women, and you just did something that I think is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You went to court to testify on behalf of Annabella Sciorra in the Harvey Weinstein trial. So I know, pretty amazing. How did it feel to support your friend in that moment? I can't imagine.
Well, I'm not, legally I'm not at liberty to talk about an ongoing case, as Sonny, you know. What I can say is that when a friend needs you, you hope someone's there.
Yeah.
And
I understand.
She's my friend.
Yes. Well, we all here at The View support you and Annabella and have been watching the case very closely and have made our own conclusions. That being said, I have to give this legal note. Weinstein has pleaded not guilty in all charges and has denied all allegations of non-consensual sex.
Yeah, okay. What else?
All right. So, Margot, the Academy Awards are this weekend, and you're nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Bombshell. You were amazing. You played Kayla, who represents an amalgamation of women's experiences, right, with Roger Ailes. What does it mean to represent those women and their stories? Because, I mean...
You're representing me.
Yeah.
I worked in Fox during that time.
Oh, wow. I've just, your performance was incredible in that one scene where you're twirling.
Thanks.
You know, I prosecuted sex crimes.
Yeah.
And I felt that.
Do you know what was fascinating about that scene and what I feel like the best thing in my mind that can come out of this movie, and even awards recognition, because that always means more people are going to go see the movie, is that guys have come up to me afterwards and said, I felt like I was in her shoes, like a teeny bit of me knew what it felt like. To be in that position.
How they got his office as perfect as they did. When I watched it, it was eerie.
Yeah.
Furniture, everything.
I mean, the amount of research they did was incredible in replicating it. And Charles Randolph, who wrote it, who wrote The Big Short, like when he explores an issue, he explores every nook and cranny of it. And they spoke to hundreds of people, particularly women that worked at Fox. And it was, it was quite a journey being a part of that film. But for me, the most rewarding thing is when men have watched it and felt like they have empathy for someone who's been in that position.
Wow.
I think that's important, because we're not going to fix this on our own. It's not a problem for women to fix. It's something we all have to do together. And it's, you know, I want the guys to watch this film as much as the guys.
Congratulations. Well done. There's often some level of criticism launched towards what women wear, be it in real life or screen, or even at the Super Bowl halftime show, as it was this week, oddly enough. Rosie, how did that impact the amazing costumes you all wore in this film? Because I thought they were amazing, quite frankly. Look at that. They were great.
We had our costume designer, Erin, is just the coolest woman on the planet. And we all, obviously, the costumes, for those who know the comics, can see the bits that have been pulled, like paying homage to the characters, whether it's fishnets or the color palette for Black Canary and so on and so forth, diamonds for Harley. But we also wanted to wear something practical that we could fight in, because we had to fight a lot. You know, we added a moment in the film where you where you have to tie your hair back because no one can do a fight scene with hair in your face. So it was like stuff like that. It was distinctly a female influence.
All right, well, thank you. Our thanks to Margot Robbie, Rosie Perez, Journey Smollett-Bell, and Ella J. Bosco. Birds of Prey is in theaters Friday, February 7th. Go watch it. Birds of Prey, the album gets released that day, and members of our studio audience are going home with a copy. We'll be right back.
The Oscar goes to Your Deal. We partnered with vendors for at least half off glam that's going to set the Oscar red carpet on fire.